I want to say congratulations, and if I can just tell one little story, with his permission, I'd like to do that. You may not know that, but last summer we took a 6-week trip out west, and we in an RV with Lee and Rick and Holly and I. We spent about 10,000 miles in a 30-foot RV. And one of the first days that we were on the road, Rick said he was going to look at the showers in the KOA campsite. And we said, okay. He said, matter of fact, he said, I'm gonna rate them as the trip goes on. But he said, you're gonna be very proud of me. He said, just for protection, he said, I brought my thongs to wear. And we were doing about the same thing you're doing right now. We were looking around. I was looking for a spoon. I was gonna gouge my eyes out. And I looked at Holly, and her eyes were about that big around. And he goes, yeah. He says, Mom said, Rick, if you're going to be going in and out of the showers, don't forget your thongs. Which in Vermont, I guess, that's what they call flip-flops. Thank God.
I didn't give you permission.
Oh, I thought you nodded yes. I'm sorry. Well, back to the class of 1968 and Mr. Ronald James Moore. When Ron was 8 or 9 years old, his family went to Groton, Connecticut to visit Uncle Bob and Aunt Pat. Bob Moore was a submarine sailor during World War II. And completed 21 years in the Navy, retiring in 1961. Uncle Bob took Ron on a tour of a World War II diesel submarine, and when Ron got in the torpedo room and saw the torpedoes, a new course was set for his future. So it was no surprise that when he graduated from Thai High in June of 1968, that Ron chose the SUNY Maritime College to attend. Now, after a year, Ron realized that he needed to make a change. And that change involved marrying his high school sweetheart, Claire Delano, on January 24th, 1970, and enlisting in the U.S. Navy. Both were to be long-term relationships. Ron and Claire are celebrating their 48th wedding anniversary this year. Congratulations. And the Navy occupied the first 21 years of their married life. Ron, of course, requested electronics training and submarine duty and was immediately sent to the Navy's electronics school in the Great Lakes for the next year. From there, he attended submarine school in Groton, Connecticut, after which he was assigned to the USS Dogfish, which happened to be a World War II diesel sub, just like the one that Ron had toured with Uncle Bob years before. When the USS Dogfish was taken out of service, Ron was sent to the Navy's navigation system training for the next 6 months to prepare him to handle the electronics of a nuclear sub. And that sub was the USS Sturgeon. Gone was the constant smell of diesel fuel, and Ron was pleased to find showers on board the new modern sub. When his tour was up on the USS Sturgeon, Ron was sent back to the Navy's ship navigation system training, but this time as an instructor, and he taught there for 3 years. Ron's next deployment was on board the USS Jack, but this time as a newly promoted Chief Petty Officer. As his rank grew, so did his responsibility, and Ron was assigned to the Navy Submarine Surveillance Program in New London, Connecticut. The SSEP groom teams are sent aboard fast attack submarines to ensure that all those electronic surveillance systems are operating at their peak efficiency. During the 10 years that Ron served on the SSEP groom and certification team, he was promoted to Master Chief Petty Officer, which is the highest enlisted rank in the Navy. Ron retired from the Navy in 1991 after serving 21 years, 1 month, and 13 days. While in the Navy, Ron was able to use his Navy training and credits from SUNY Maritime to earn a degree from Mohegan Community College, which helped him in his next civilian employment. Ron and Claire had moved back to North Hudson to be closer to Claire's parents, and Ron heard that a New York State Department of Corrections facility was looking for an electronics instructor. Ron applied, was accepted, and began classes to become certified as a vocational education instructor. Ron taught basic electronics for 10 years and was promoted to the education supervisor at Washington County facility in Comstock, New York, and retired from there in 2005. Ron spent 2 years as a security guard for International Paper, Ticonderoga Mill, and as an electronic technician at Goodrich in Vergennes, Vermont, where he tested aircraft components. After Ron and Claire returned to North Hudson Ron joined the North Hudson Volunteer Fire Department and served many years as a firefighter, including 6 years as treasurer for the department. Attempting to fill the needs of the community, Ron became a certified assessor and served in that capacity for 3 years. Ron was then elected as a board member and served from 2002 until 2012. Ron was then successfully elected to the town supervisor and is now in his second term as supervisor. Ron has worked diligently to promote the Adirondacks as a recreational area in lobbying Albany to keep the Boris Ponds open to the public and help grow tourism and provide employment opportunities to area residents. Ron's efforts were recently rewarded when in January 2017, New York State Governor Cuomo announced a $32 million investment to create a world-class recreational and tourism hub at Exit 29 in North Hudson. In April of this year, the groundbreaking ceremony for the Frontier Town Campground, Equestrian, and Day Use area and the Paradox Brewery was held. The proposal includes renovating the buildings, building a visitor center, campgrounds for tents, campers, and RVs, along with 33 equestrian sites complete with trails. Along with a state announcement, Paradox Brewery was also announced a multi-million investment at the site that would create 22 new area jobs. All the announcements are a huge boost to the local economy, and any job creation in the Adirondacks is always welcome. Ron and Claire live in North Hudson, and they have 2 children, son Rich, daughter Erin, and 1 grandson, Dalton. Son Rich is a retired Army Ranger. He both graduated from and taught at Army Ranger School, served 2 tours in Iraq, and was awarded the Bronze Star and the Army Commendation Medal with a V for Valor for service in a combat zone. Ron and Rich's service to the country seems to be a Moore family tradition. From James Wilcox, who came across Lake Champlain with Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys to take Fort Ticonderoga, to his Uncle Bob Moore in the World War II Submarine Corps, his Uncle Buck Moore in General Patton's Red Ball Express, to Ron's father Vern, serving in the Army in Europe, and who was shot twice by a sniper in France during World War II. Ron, we thank you for your service. Ron was a small fish in a big pond when he left Ticonderoga and he joined the U.S. Navy. Ron became a big fish in a small pond when he rose to the rank of Master Chief Petty Officer in the Navy Submarine Corps. Ron was a small fish in a big pond representing North Hudson, New York, in Essex County, and lobbying Albany to invest in Frontier Town as a gateway to the Adirondacks. And very soon, Ron will be in his canoe on a small pond catching big fish. And that, my friends, is where he's always wanted to be. And I'm very proud to introduce Ron Moore as a 2018 Ticonderoga Distinguished Alumni.
Submarines are only about 33 feet in diameter. How long was that craft you were riding in? I almost think I ought to award a honorary submarine set of dolphins to the people that made that trip. But I'm very proud and deeply appreciative of receiving this award tonight. I really never thought that I would get any kind of recognition for what I thought was just doing my job. So I want to thank the nominating committee and the Alumni Association. And there are a lot of people I owe thanks to who helped me along the way. People who don't always get the credit that they deserve. I've been really, truly blessed to have worked with so many great people. In submarines, you work as a team. We all depend on one another. Everybody has to do their job, and our lives depend on it. After all, we wanted our surfaces to equal our dives. I also had the opportunity to work with more great people, teachers and vocational instructors in the Department of Corrections. People who worked very hard, many times under difficult circumstances, to teach their students, even though I guess it could be said we had a captive audience. Which brings me back to where we all started and first learned. It was our basis and our foundation. It was high. I tried to teach my inmate students with some of the same style that I had from some of the teachers I had here. Discipline when necessary, but also with patience, compassion, and understanding. In my job as a supervisor, and really throughout my other careers, I've tried to be firm, fair, and consistent. Another principle I think I first learned here at Ty High from my teachers then. I'm very fortunate in my time as supervisor to have been involved with highly dedicated men and women who strive daily to make things better in their communities and throughout the park. My greatest satisfaction is that I've had the opportunity to play a part in making changes that will not only benefit my town of North Hudson, but also surrounding communities, and through other organizations, the entire Adirondack Park. My class of 1968 had our 50th high school reunion right here, 3 weeks ago tomorrow. Had a great time seeing and spending and talking with classmates I hadn't seen in many years. We also had a great trip to the high school. Quite a few changes, all beautiful. Many upgrades, a beautiful new auditorium. We got to see the art and technology upgrades and a fantastic planetarium. But also there were some things that hadn't changed. As we walked around the school, the same rooms. Memories came rushing back. And I have to mention some of those teachers, if I may. Some of you may remember them, but some of you look awful young, so you may not. Mr. Russell, Mr. Marshall, Mr. Cymbalski, Mr. Royce and Mr. McCarthy, and Miss Simpkins, who I think was my father's English teacher. Which brings to mind my father's history teacher, the most feared man that roamed Ticonderoga Road High School. Raise your hand if you know who I'm talking about. I thought he had eyes on everyone, all the time. Mr. George Burroughs. This is what laid my foundation, and I'm glad, so glad that continues today, with and for our kids today. It was a great place to grow up, and Ty High was a great school, and is a great school. Large part due to a couple of teachers, former teachers, sitting at this table right over here. So let us continue to give back to our communities, give back to our schools, give back to our kids, and continue this great legacy that we have at Thai High. So, I almost forgot. Chuck took some of my thunder. I got something else from Thai High. I met a girl. A short little redhead named Claire Delano, class of '69. To steal a phrase or two from an old Righteous Brothers tune. Chuck, can you sing
Sing
this
it,
for me?
sing it.
I can't sing it, it would be bad and ugly. I'll just use one refrain. You're my soul. And my heart's inspiration. In January, we'll celebrate our 49th wedding anniversary. So you see, I got a lot from Ty. How did he left me? Ty will always be home, and I'll always be a proud member of the Ticonderoga High School graduating class of 1968. And the third member of that class that has received the Distinguished Alumni Award. I'm very proud to be honored to be in their company, and with all the others who have received this prestigious award. So thank you again. This really does mean an awful lot.